Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Sports Talk with Chinn. Today we have Chinn, obviously, me, and JC Replays. We're going to be jumping right into this. It's going to be a fun week. We got a lot of good questions for the guys, and we're going to see how everything goes. But before we start, I would like to congratulate the LA Dodgers on their win, and I would like to ask you all, what are your thoughts on the series overall?
I kind of thought the series myself was, don't get me wrong, I'm the biggest Dodgers fan ever, but I kind of thought it was a beatdown. I didn't really think it was going to be what we expected. I thought it was going to be a 7-game series, and the only game that the Yankees could even get on the Dodgers was a bullpen game that the Dodgers just punted to them. So maybe I'm being biased because I'm a Dodgers fan, but I kind of thought the series was a letdown, and the Dodgers just whooped them.
Replays?
Yeah, I have to agree. It looked like to me kind of like a 4-1 win for the Dodgers. I hate the Yankees, so I'm happy the Dodgers won. And yeah, big ups to the Dodgers.
I also hate the Yankees. Let's go Dodgers. All right.
Go Dodgers.
All right, guys, let's get into some football talk because we got a lot of exciting stuff coming around now that the trade deadline is over. And the first thing I want to talk about is the 7-2 Commanders going out and picking up Marshon Lattimore from the Saints. This trade netted the Saints a 3rd, 4th, and 6th round pick, and all they had to pay was their 5th rounder and their star cornerback. What do you all think this is going to do for the Commanders' defense going forward? And what are your all's thoughts about all the problems coming out of the Saints? Daryl, if you want to start this one.
Yeah, so the Saints look like they could be gearing up to tank. That's really what the Saints look like to me right now. It's looking like this is probably going to be Derek Carr's last season in New Orleans. Where he goes, I think Derek Carr is one of the most underrated quarterbacks ever in NFL history. Like, I feel like he's always made some good plays. He's always had a good receiver that he throws the ball to. He's just always been let down his entire career by bad defense play. I'm really shocked the Saints didn't move Chase Young at the deadline, too. Because Chase Young, he's a very young talent and a very good talent that could have really helped out a lot of good teams. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't move Chase Young. Maybe they're not gearing up to tank, but I mean, they fired their head coach. They moved their best corner. Probably going to be Derek Carr's last season. There's already some drama there going back between him and Michael Thomas. But we won't even get into that. But as far as the Commanders, they got a great start and forget number one corner that they desperately needed. They were 17th against the pass, and I see them now being top 10, maybe close to at least top 10 now. So they got a very good corner that you can now match up against your opposing team's number one wide receiver, and you can feel comfortable putting him out there in single coverage, saying that, hey, my guy's going to win some matchups against your guy. So I do like the move by the Commanders. The Commanders are a very good team. I'm respecting it. But the Saints is just disappointing because I feel like Derek Carr has always been kind of underappreciated in his career. And this right here is just the nail in the coffin for him in New Orleans, I believe.
Replays?
Yeah, the Saints, man. Like, let's just start with the Saints. The first 2 weeks of the season, unbelievable. They played outstanding. Drop off is crazy. And like Daryl said, I kind of see like a tank, but I mean, can never be so sure. But Michael Thomas does not help. All that stuff he used to be saying on Twitter does not help at all. And he's not even on a roster right now. Like, he's acting all tough on Twitter, and he's not even on a roster right now. He's supposed to be an all-pro wide receiver. I'm not going to get too into him, but Chris Olave, man, like, Derek Carr is throwing him hospital passes, and he's getting hurt bad. And Alvin Kamara, I mean, he's about to be out of his prime, and for running back, he's already old. So, I mean, the Saints, honestly, they need to start rebuilding. And I really think they should tank this season and get that first-round pick. And for the Commanders side, they are really scary. I mean, this team is outstanding. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I can't believe this man's leadership. Like, he is just leading that offense to numbers, man. Like, it is so impressive to see that. And now that their defense got a key veteran piece, I don't know, man. They could be a scary team with a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. And I think they're probably going to win this division. Sad to say it, but probably going to win this division. And yeah, that trade is pretty good for the Commanders.
All right.
So just to follow up on this, though, about Michael Thomas struggled to stay healthy like the last 4 seasons. Derek Carr's only been in New Orleans for 2 seasons. So Michael Thomas can't blame any of his health reasons on Derek Carr. Okay? And as far as Chris Olave, yeah, that was a pretty bad pass, and Chris Olave got laid out for it. But one, there was a penalty on that play. It was an unnecessary roughness penalty. Okay? So that hit shouldn't have ever happened. Derek Carr, throughout his career, has never really put his receivers in terrible jeopardy like that. He's a gunslinger, and everybody knows in this league, especially in the NFL, you're going to get hit as a receiver. Sometimes there's going to be passes that's going to be thrown in the middle of the field. I think the NFL really needs to go back to the old ways, like when Ray Lewis used to, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning have literally said it several times. Like, when they was playing the Ravens, they would not throw the ball in the middle of the field because Ray Lewis was just going to level their guy and take him out. Like, that's part of the game. Like, every quarterback, now, and we live in such an offensive-driven league, and we want to protect everybody, and I understand it. I get it. We don't want somebody to die in the field or something, but at the same time, like, all these quarterbacks do it, and other receivers just get lucky, and they get up and walk away from it sometimes. And then when one receiver goes down, we want to make a big deal and say, oh, it's a terrible pass. Quarterback should have never thrown it. Quarterbacks in this league shouldn't throw half their passes if they do. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree on that, though. Yeah, I definitely agree.
That's
Tom
the reason
Brady and Peyton Manning used to say, I'm not throwing that ball. And, I mean, Derek Carr, I mean, he's not going up against Ray Lewis, so he doesn't really expect that.
Exactly.
So, I see your point.
And we want to bash one quarterback. I like Derek Carr. I really do. I'm not trying to just defend him or anything like that. It could be anybody. It could be Tom Brady in this situation. Everybody knows how much I despise that man. It could be Tom Brady in this situation and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, we've protected the players and we've protected the league like this to where now quarterbacks think that these passes are okay to make.
Yeah, that is true. All right, well, guys, if we're done with that topic, let's move on to a topic that no NFL fan besides one fan group wants to talk about, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs being 8-0. They seem unbreakable right now, especially with the addition of D-Hop into the circle. What is the winning recipe here? They're injury-ridden, and everything seemed like it was lost at the start of the season, and they're 8-0 still. No sign of stopping either. Do you all think this is the season we see the historic three-peat replays?
So I'll start with the main cause of why they're so good. Chris Jones and his boys on that defense. That defense is outstanding, and Patrick Mahomes is getting real lucky. That defense is really good. And, I mean, they're booming. 5 interceptions, 17 sacks in 9 weeks. I mean, this team is booming. I mean, like, it is outstanding how good that defense is.
All right, Daryl?
So this is going to be one of the few times I'm actually going to agree with you. So everybody knows I always nitpick back and forth with this kid. Yeah, that defense is really good. Their defensive line's being good. They get to the quarterback when they need to. They make the plays when they need to. They make interceptions when they need to. They're spectacular on defense. But, like, let's not, like, just completely ride the defense and stuff like that. Do I see this year being the first year that we have the first ever three-peat? Could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I think this is the most realistic season that it could happen in NFL history. Even back whenever Tom Brady and the Patriots won back-to-back Super Bowls in 2003 and 2004, and everybody thought, they was the runaway favorite in 2005 till the Steelers took it from them. But I really think that this is the year that could be the best chance to see the first ever three-peat. And the reason I'm saying it's not because the defense, I'm going to say because Patrick Mahomes. Like, I know a lot of people ride him and stuff like that, but he, regardless of what you think about him, regardless of what you think about the refs or anything like that, he finds ways to win games. He really does. Even just, what was it, Monday night against the Buccaneers? Buccaneers made a heck of a drive down the field to tie the game. Like, he makes the drives that he needs to. He's the greatest quarterback in the NFL, the greatest quarterback of this generation, and already arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, the things this man does, like, the entire league right now is actually like mean mugging the Titans for giving the Chiefs DeAndre Hopkins. Lots of people said D-Hop was done. His career was finished. And to be honest with you, if he wouldn't have went to like a team where they had a perennial quarterback, I would be saying the same thing. I would say there was probably like 3 teams in the league that would have been perfect for D-Hop, and the Chiefs was one of them. And now D-Hop has a chance to step in that number 1 wide receiver, and he's already balling out just 2 weeks in. I am a little nervous about him this week because he's going to be shadowed by Patrick Surtain. But we'll just see. But as far as the answer to your question, yes, I do think this is the first year that we could see a three-peat.
All right. And replays, would you like to follow that up with something?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow it up. I didn't want to say my opinion on the three-peat because I wanted to hear Daryl's, but I'm gonna say yes on the three-peat too. Obviously, they got the greatest quarterback in the league. He might not be the best. I think Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the league right now, and Jared Goff is also the best quarterback in the league right now. And I think
I'll
Patrick
agree with
Mahomes-
you on the Jared Goff, but Lamar Jackson? What? I get it. Yeah, the dude's cool. He can run 30 yards down the field and he can throw it 90 yards, but can he do it consistently and be accurate every pass? No, but Patrick Mahomes can.
Yes, but Patrick Mahomes, he is a winner, and he wins playoff games and Super Bowls. So,
and that's what matters in this league.
I think the only team
Thank you.
in the AFC that can stop him is
when Lamar Jackson makes it to an NFC. When Lamar Jackson makes it to an AFC championship game or even makes it to a Super Bowl, then we can start talking about the best quarterback in the league. But until then, Lamar Jackson is great in the regular season. He looks cool. He looks fancy, but then he chokes hard in the playoffs.
We're talking about the Chiefs, guys. Don't make me cut y'all off about Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything else?
Yeah, what I was going to say is Mahomes is a winner. He has the best chance to win this three-peat.
All right. So there it is. Y'all both think the three-peat is happening, and so do I. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want it to
didn't
happen.
say it was happening. I said this is the best chance it could happen.
It could. But I'm telling y'all this right now. It's probably going to happen, and we're all going to be just as upset about it as we were last year, if not more. So
Lions to the Super Bowl.
Eagles to the Super Bowl.
Giants to the Super Bowl if we're just throwing crazy stuff out. Okay? Danny Dimes is going to take it to the house, kid. All right, now let's move on here. NFC West. It's a wide open division here. We're talking 5-4, 4-4, 4-4, and 4-4. You can't get much closer than this. The Cardinals seem like they're kind of running away with it right now, but with the return of CMC on Sunday and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp already coming back for the Rams, how do you all think this division is going to turn out before the end of the season? Replays, would you like to start us off here?
Yeah, I'll start you off on this one. I'm going to take... I mean, it's not the most popular route, okay? But it is the route I really, truly believe. I think the Rams are winning this division. Before you guys get all crazy, Matthew Stafford has been elite. Even without Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp when they were on injury, he's been elite. He's got this team... 4 wins, I think, with Puka and Kupp when they were both playing. So, I mean, this offense is balling. Kyron Williams, unbelievably balling. I mean, that defense, too. I mean, that defense is pretty damn good. I mean, 8 interceptions and 21 sacks. And I think they're ranked 11th defense. And honestly, I really think this team is winning this division.
The Rams?
49ers are obviously the favorites.
The Rams are 11th in defense?
Yeah.
Now, let me fact check that. Who didn't start the fire? It was Replay's notes because they got burnt in the trash can. Let's move on to Daryl. His stats are probably correct.
Okay. So... good question. The NFC West is very tight. I like it. Well, let's run through numbers. What wins championships? Defense. Okay. The Cardinals are 24th in total D. The Rams are 23rd. The Hawks are 22nd. And the 49ers are 10th. Do you need to fact check me on that?
I take your word.
I have all of them except the Rams, right?
Okay. Now, out of all those, okay, I understand you got to move the ball in order to win. Out of those 4 teams, the only team in the top 9 in total offense is the 49ers at second. And the 49ers get CMC back this week. The next closest to them in offense is actually the Seahawks at number 9. But, and you can fact check that if you want me to, or if you want to. You don't have to take my word for it. But yeah, I mean, the Rams are good. Their offense is explosive. They're fun to watch. I love the Rams. But I think their defense is going to let them down. And not only that, Matthew Stafford, as much as I like him and as great as a quarterback as he always is, he makes bad decisions in bad times. Like, he's a great quarterback. He can throw it a mile. But there's just times and there's question marks where you're like, why did he throw that ball and it's an interception? And I think between Matthew Stafford and the Rams defense, I think they're going to let them down. No matter how good Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are, no matter how good that offense is, I feel like in just the most critical situations, whether it be Stafford or their defense is going to let them down. So I do have the Rams in the playoffs, so I have them finishing as number 2 in this division. The Cardinals, I don't see how they can keep this up. Their defense is bad. Their offense isn't the greatest. To be honest with you, they're kind of just getting lucky wins. Like, Kyler Murray, in my opinion, he's got all the talent in the world, but sometimes it just seems like his head's not in the game. He doesn't keep his eyes down the field. You have this generational talent at wide receiver that you went out and got who's made some incredible plays, but, like, we already bashed at Derek Carr for throwing a hospital pass to Chris Olave. Have you all seen some of the passes that Kyler Murray is throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr., expecting him to make? He's already lost him for one game due to a concussion, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is so dang good he didn't even miss a game, or he didn't miss a week. He came back the next week. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's crazy. He's a great receiver. Kyler Murray is just not utilizing him the correct way. Like, Kyler Murray is going to drag this Cardinals team down. I feel like the Cardinals are literally a quarterback away from being Super Bowl contenders. Their defense isn't, like, completely terrible. They just get left out there on the field a lot because their offense doesn't want to move the ball. Kyler Murray can't keep his eyes downfield, and he starts scrambling, and then he just makes dumb plays. He fumbles. So I feel like the Cardinals are going to be let down by Kyler Murray. The Rams will be let down by either Matthew Stafford or their defense. And the Seahawks, I don't think they're just not quite there yet. Geno is balling this season. Geno, he's up there. I don't know the exact stat on it, but Geno's up there in passing yards this season. I think he was leading the league.
He's number 1.
Yeah, okay.
He's number 1.
That's what I didn't want to say it because you just got fact checked.
He's number 1.
I didn't want to be fact checked right behind you. So Geno is balling, and I'm loving what Geno's doing, but they still play the 49ers again. I just don't see how the Seahawks can hold them off. I think the 49ers are going to be coming like a Mack truck right up in the rearview mirror of the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, and time will only tell here. Hopefully the 11th best defense in the league stays in it. I believe that they got this replays, but let's move on here. Let's talk about something that I kind of find funny. The Steelers have acquired Mike Williams. So, do you all think he's going to fit into this Steelers scheme? This is his 3rd team in the past 2 years? He's a veteran receiver. How is this going to work out? Do you think Russ is going to help him out here, or what are we talking here? Daryl, do you want to start us?
I like it. I actually like this trade. I think it gives the Steelers that deep play, big play threat that they was lacking. It allows George Pickens to now stay in more single coverages. and it gives him the underneath routes. That way he can get the ball, get in space, and make moves like George Pickens should do. They're sending George Pickens on deep routes and stuff like that, and he's a great receiver, and he'll catch them, but I feel like he's wasting a lot of energy. Get George Pickens the ball underneath. Get him the ball 10, 15 yards down the field, and let him make a move. George Pickens is fast. He's elusive. He's big. Let George Pickens carry your team. And this way, if you do get somebody over the top, you have Mike Williams now that can take the top off the defenses. So I like the move here.
All right, replays. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Mike Williams. I think the Jets did him pretty dirty. I mean, he was the fourth receiver on that offense, but I think his talent didn't really show as good as he was there. And Aaron Rodgers used him as a scapegoat on one of his losses. And I think that Russell Wilson will fit him into that offensive scheme perfectly. The Steelers are so hot. When Najee and Jalen Warren, I know this is a running back side of it, but when they're both on the field together in the same game, they average 166 yards combined. That offense is so good rushingly. I think that most defenses are going to line up trying to stop the run, which will give Mike Williams that deep ball threat over the top, like Daryl said. And I feel like Russell Wilson, he's so talented. You've seen in the past with his receivers. I think Mike Williams is going to fit really well, and I think he'll learn very quickly because this offense right now is kind of like what the Chargers had last year. They had the two really good wide receivers with a really good running back.
You really changed up a whole new tune right there with Russell Wilson there. Wasn't it just 2 weeks ago you were saying, why bench Justin Fields? Russell Wilson's bad. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but
you changed your tune up real quick.
I had to eat this one up. Russell Wilson is a baller, and I forgot that. I mean, the Broncos didn't help me to remember that. But, yeah, he is a baller.
He threw 28 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions last year in 13 weeks and got benched the final 4 games of the season. I mean, what he completed last season.
Nobody watched the Broncos last year.
He was doing all this with a head coach who hated him.
Yep. Exactly.
Nobody watched the Broncos, bro.
Exactly. Russell Wilson was never the problem with the Broncos. All right. Anyways.
All right, guys.
That's the truth.
Let's follow it up here with a question that dearly hurt me to write. All right?
I'm glad it hurt you to write.
Is buzzing about Saquon Barkley. This play he made had a juke, a spin, and a backwards hurdle. With that being said, though, they sit at 6-2 here. They're in second place, just 1 game behind the Commanders. Do you all think they can come up here and take this division, or are they at best a wild card entry team? Replays, I'll let you start with this one. Just don't hurt yourself.
Okay, so look, this is going to surprise Daryl a lot, I think, in particular, because he knows I'm the biggest Jalen Hurts meat rider there is on this planet.
That is facts.
But I am also not an idiot. The Commanders are winning this division. I'm just going to be clear on that right now. Jalen Hurts has been playing outstanding. Of course, I'm going to glaze him a little bit. But Jaden Daniels has been playing better. And I think they will end up as a wild card team. But I will say Saquon Barkley is the key factor on Eagles' success in the playoffs. They're guaranteed playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think they miss it out. Cowboys, terrible. I don't think anyone's stealing that second place spot over them. And, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to be really good in the playoffs, and Commanders, they're going to win this division without a doubt.
All right, Daryl?
So, unless Saquon Barkley gets hurt, I say that there's no way the Commanders can hold off the Eagles for the division. Like, listen, everybody knows I love the Commanders. I'm high on them. I love Jaden Daniels. He's a generational talent. He can run and throw, and he can do it both very, very well. It's very, very rare that you get a rushing quarterback that can also make every throw on the field. Lamar, As much as people like want to ride Lamar can run. He's one of the best runners in the league. Okay, and he can make passes, but he can't complete every throw accurate. Jaden Daniels can do that. Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, is a way better version of Lamar. But he's young. He's a rookie. The entire Commanders team is young. They have draft picks. They're getting better with acquiring Marshon Lattimore, but they're young. Exactly, and they're going to make rookie mistakes. I think in the biggest, clutchest games of them all, like, don't forget, the Commanders still have to play the Eagles. Twice, maybe.
Twice, yeah. Twice.
Like,
twice. Last game of the season, too, is one of them.
And the Eagles are only one game behind them. So, hear me out. Let's say the Eagles beat them the first game. Then the last game of the season, the teams are tied or whatever. Or, maybe the Eagles are even a game back still. And the winner of that game in the last game of the season wins the division. I'm taking the Eagles 100 times out of 100, regardless of what happens. The Eagles are experienced. They have great talent across the board. They know what they're doing. They've been to a Super Bowl with this exact team, minus Saquon. The Commanders are just young. I think in the biggest games and the biggest pressure moments, they're not going to be able to maintain that composure, and it's going to get the best of them. So I don't think the question is, can the Commanders hold them off? I think the question is, when will the Eagles overtake the Commanders for the division lead?
I want to go off that real fast, and I was just wanted to say I was being pretty humble, but I also did have in my brain, Commanders are very young. In the playoffs, I do not think they will go farther than the Eagles, but I still think. I mean, I like to say the Eagles are going to win, but I kind of think the Commanders are going to take this division. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close, but playoff-wise, I think the Eagles will go much farther, and I think they're going to go to that championship game
against the Lions, right, and lose.
Well, let's not say lose, but definitely the Lions.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to close that question up by saying to all my Giants fans, just remember, nobody's going to pay Saquon. I think it's time for us to move on to our starter sits. We're going to go reverse here. We're going to start with replays, go to Daryl, and then on the next one, we'll go back and forth. All right? So starting set, let's start off with DeAndre Hopkins. Replays, what you got?
So, this is a tricky one because it is Pat Surtain guarding him, I assume. The Broncos will put him on. But, I mean, I think I still start him. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns last week with 8 catches for 86 yards and 29 points in PPR fantasy. I mean, he was outstanding for a debut. The problem is, this is a risky start because Pat Surtain, he loves locking your favorite receiver. And, I mean, for Chiefs fans, that is the number one, DeAndre Hopkins. So I think Pat Surtain is going to give him a rough time, but I think this could still be a start this week.
All right, Daryl.
That's it. Patrick Surtain's guarding him. Patrick Surtain hasn't allowed a receiver to post over 70 yards while being guarded by him this season. So Patrick Surtain's the best corner in the league, and he's proved to shut down. So if you are starting D-Hop this week, you have to be praying that Mahomes looks early and often to D-Hop. Like, let's just say he gets him 10 catches for 80 yards or something like that. That's a reasonable start. I'd take that. What is that, 15 fantasy points? I'd take that. But realistically, he's not going to throw it his way 15 times. It's just not realistic. D-Hop is a little older. He's not exactly young anymore. He's still a great receiver in my opinion, but I just don't see how D-Hop's going to get enough separation to get 10 targets or get 15 targets or 10 catches or whatever. And Patrick Surtain, when he does give up catches, he doesn't give up yards after catch. So, and D-Hop is a big physical receiver guy. Maybe D-Hop thrives in this. Maybe D-Hop just throws him to the ground. We've seen D-Hop throw guys to the ground several times, but I think if you have other reasonable options, I would probably not start D-Hop this week.
I'm going to say one thing on that. Pat Surtain did allow 2 touchdowns and 127 yards last week against Zay Flowers. Just saying.
He wasn't guarding Zay Flowers the whole game. He didn't allow either touchdown.
For the 2 touchdowns.
He didn't allow either one of the... The
2 touchdowns he wasn't.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But Zay Flowers still had 100.
He didn't allow either touchdown.
All
but
right.
that could be the same with D-Hop.
All right. Calm down. Pastor Tan's going to lock everybody down. I get it, but we're starting D-Hop around here. He's a veteran. He's going to push that little kid around. Y'all don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know nothing. Let's move on to Xavier Leggett. Chinn, what you got?
Sit. Doesn't matter who plays quarterback this week for the Panthers, whether it's Andy Dalton or Bryce Young. Leggett hasn't gotten the ball a whole lot this season. Andy's a rookie. Adam Thielen's going to be coming back. And the Panthers organization in total, like, what are they doing? Like, I'm to the point with the Panthers that, like, it doesn't really matter who you have on the Panthers. You might as well just sit them. Because we just don't know what direction they're going, what they're trying to do. It's just not worth the risk.
I would like to follow up, unless his name is Chuba Hubbard. Didn't that dude drop 23 last week?
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with the Panthers wide receiver core.
All right, replays. What's your thoughts here?
I think Leggett is a sit too this week. I mean, I can't trust a single soul besides, I guess, Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he did just get paid a lot this week, so who knows if he even has that motivation going forward on this offense, but definitely sit.
All right. This next one is Josh Downs. Replays, you start this one off.
I'm gonna say start this week. I think yeah, start, because Joe Flacco is at quarterback. He does like Josh Downs a lot, and I could see Josh Downs getting a couple over-the-top balls from Joe Flacco, like we've seen Josh Downs and Anthony Richardson. Not saying Anthony Richardson's good, but Joe Flacco will hit those deep bombs, and I could see Josh Downs getting 17 points this week, PPR.
Chinn?
Yeah, I like Josh Downs' start. Flacco has looked Josh Downs' way a lot this season whenever he has started. Josh Downs really has been the Colts' best receiver this season with the way Michael Pittman has struggled this season. Maybe he starts turning it around, but the Bills do have the 6th best defense against the pass. So that's a lot to say. Like, I feel like Michael Pittman's probably going to get clamped. They're going to focus a lot on Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman's hurt for this week.
Is he?
He's out.
Okay. All right.
He's questionable. It's not confirmed out yet.
No, it's out. He was ruled out today.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that even makes it even worse than for Michael Pittman. But, yeah, I would definitely say that Josh Downs is a start then. He's been the Colts' best receiver this season anyways.
Well, I would like to follow this up. What are your all thoughts on Alec Pierce?
Sit.
Alec Pierce is a sit because he's going to get the main cornerback attention.
I would almost start Adonai Mitchell over Alec Pierce because Mitchell's going to be in the Mitchell will be the number 3 receiver and he'll be working out of the slot this week.
Yeah.
All right, I just didn't know if that deep threat had any opinion for you all.
Yeah,
especially with Flacco.
Man, speaking of that, I might actually pick up the rookie Adonai Mitchell because I feel like this week could be a pop-off week for him now with Pittman out. Yeah. Thanks for telling me. I'm going to go do that right now.
Let's move on here to Bucky Irving. Replays, take your hands off your monitor because you are coming to the question.
I had the last one, little bro.
Hey, you're getting this one, too.
This kid's actually trying to pick up Adonai Mitchell before I can.
I tried. Wait.
Waiting for my notification to come across that somebody picked him up.
Did he get it?
Yep. There it is.
Nice.
Confirmed. The Sun God Knuckles has acquired Adonai Mitchell.
Bucky Irvin. I'm literally
Bucky Irvin, I think that he is a sit this week. He is coming back from injury. And I don't know if he's going to get all those handoffs like he used to when he was the number 1. He is coming off an injury. Rachaad White is looking nice. Last week he looked really nice. And I don't know if he's going to be getting 40, maybe 50% of the snaps. So I'm going to say sit for him this week.
All right, Chinn?
I also say sit. He is coming back from an injury. He's still nursing that injury from what I've been hearing. And he could be on a snap count restriction. So, yeah, I definitely think he's a sit. I think that he's only going to probably get 40% of the snaps, and he's probably going to be very ineffective this week. You got to be real down far the totem pole if you're starting Bucky Irving this week.
Alrighty, I think it's time we move on to the moment everybody's been waiting for. Chinn's top 5 power ranking.
All
Chinn,
right.
what you got for us this week?
Number 5, I have the Washington Commanders, led by my MVP of the league right now, Jaden Daniels. They just acquired Marshon Lattimore. This defense looks to be better, and this offense is already looking stellar. So I look to see the Commanders continue being on the hot streak right now. Number 4, I have at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Russell Wilson is back, and he's showing everyone why he was this quarterback going into this season. Everybody's already shut up about Justin Fields. 2 weeks ago, everybody was saying, I can't believe you're benching Justin Fields. He's 4-2 as a starter. Well, Wilson's 2-0 as a starter, okay? All right, and Wilson has played better in 2 games than Fields played in 6 games, okay? So that's why, okay? And that D, by being led by TJ Watt, just looks fantastic, man. Like, they get to the quarterback, and they make you regret all your decisions that you ever made on offense. Number 3, I have is the Buffalo Bills. Why? Josh Allen. He's actually carrying this team. This team's 7-2, regardless of what your facial expressions are down there, kid. Okay, I see you down there. All right, regardless of what your expressions are, this defense is playing better, and Josh Allen's carrying this team. They're 7-2. They have a better record than the Steelers, better records than the Commanders. So that's why they're number 3 on this list. Okay, all right. I know it sucks. Cry about it. It's not your list. It's my list. Okay. All right.
I just want it noted the Bills are on my list too.
Number 2, and this one hurt me, the Detroit Lions. I think this team is actually the best team in the league. I had to put them at number 2, though. Jared Goff, here's a fun fact for y'all. Jared Goff has actually thrown more touchdowns over the last 4 weeks, and y'all can fact check me on this if you want to, than he has incompletions. He's thrown more touchdowns over the last 4 weeks than incompletions. That's the first time in NFL history that has happened. His completion percentage over the last 4 weeks is incredible. He had a perfect game and dang near another perfect game back-to-back weeks. So his only incompletions last week was because of like his receivers dropped the ball because of the rain, not because of like him just being inaccurate and stuff like that. Like he's incredible right now. He's
also 1 for 1 in catching touchdowns too.
Mm-hmm. So he's looking incredible. And number 1, and this one did hurt me, but you got to be undefeated. Like, they're undefeated. They keep winning. The Kansas City Chiefs. One word on this, Mahomes. Enough said. I don't need to sit up here and completely hype up the Chiefs any more than what they already are. So, bottom line, they're the best team in the NFL. They're led by the best player in the NFL. And that's the end of my top 5 power rankings.
Okay, before Replays butchers himself here, I would also like
I'm already ready to cut it off.
I don't have the Chiefs at my list at number 1, but I respect it because you have to beat the best to be the best.
Yep.
And until they get beat, what do? That Replays, go on.
Before I give you my grade for your A list, I just want to know.
I know you're upset I didn't put the Eagles in the top 5.
What happened with the Baltimore Ravens? What happened with the Baltimore Ravens on your top 5 power rankings?
Well, this was last week's. This was not this week's, okay? So if we're talking this week with the Ravens winning last
what
night.
Happened with the Baltimore Ravens?
With the Ravens winning last night, they would be number 5 now. I would put them above the Commanders right now. I'd put them above the Commanders, and I'd even put them above the Steelers right now.
Okay.
I would put them at number 3 right now if I was to make a new list right now. But the problem is, okay, and we don't even know what's going to happen the rest of this week. We're recording this podcast late.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the win last night, and that was a great win, by the way, by the Ravens. I saw the highlights. Okay, trust me, I felt it on fantasy too. Okay, 90 points between two players.
I know you did.
I'm ready to ban somebody right now. Okay, you want to be that person? Okay,
it to Jake.
If this is Monday night and I'm making a new power rankings right now, I can tell you right now the Ravens are at least 3 right now. Okay, does that make you feel better? Okay, all right?
I mean, not really,
okay?
because I still have
cup?
the Ravens before last night's game. But for your list, I will be giving you a B.
Yeah, okay. I think the only thing wrong with your list is maybe switch them Commanders and Steelers up, but
I think the only thing wrong with my list is giving replays an opinion on it.
So first of all, I'll read my list out.
All right, chat. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Y'all can comment in the section if y'all want to. Tell us what y'all's opinions are. We are cutting this out before replays butchers themselves and makes another great